Test, test, one, two.
Test.
All right.
There we go. What's up, crawfish?
Crawfish. Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2023.
What's going on, Richie? Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Creole been playing games the past couple days, and we kept having to reschedule. So I'm glad y'all could make it this evening.
I'm here. I'm
Yes.
a little tardy, but I'm still here. So
That is an accomplishment.
Crawfish says he hears some echo. I think I fixed it. Let me know.
Yeah, let us know if there's any issues with the audio. We literally just got it in working condition.
Okay, he says very echoey. Let me play around with some settings here. Is it who's echoing? Is it me or Michelle or the music?
Test 1, 2.
Oh, my mic is fine. Can you say something, Michelle?
Test 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Testing. Okay, that's better. Okay, Crawfish said that's better.
All he wanna do is gas me. How we end up in the backseat. Just trying to get to the bag. We on the same page, you the same way. Only
Okay.
fam around me. So let me know what
Okay, it's good now.
I don't plan on getting no sleep. While we doing our thing, moving too fast. Candy paint with the windows all black, seats creme brulee. What they gon' say? With the top down, spending money in a thing. We up till
All
6
right,
in the
Shell, what we got
morning.
on the agenda today?
All right. Yeah, let me get this up real quick. Give me one more second here.
And while you're pulling that up,
Yeah.
welcome. This is Untwisting the Game. You are listening to Creole and Michelle URL. We have just closed the first weekly candle of 2023, and we're sitting at 16,600.
If we on a run, nothing matters when we one-on-one. Looking
Okay,
at us,
here we
going
go.
dumb. We on the same way, we the same way. You know I'll be down to fist with you. Where we going, baby? What's the move? We should take a trip up to the moon. Get a room. Doing our thing, moving too fast. Candy paint with the windows all black, seats creme brulee. What they gon' say? With the top down, spending
Okay.
money in the thing. We up till 6 in the morning. When the sunrise, we'll be on it. Oh, I got 5, you know it's so live. Tell me when to go, baby, when we gon' slide, baby, when we gon' slide.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I think. Trying to find the right script. Here we go.
All right. You want me to put you up on the screen here?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, y'all. How we feeling? Cause
How are we feeling? One hell of a
Woo!
2022. But hey, if you're listening to this, you have survived. We survived 2022. One hell of a bear market, one hell of a year. Let's jump into a little bit. Um, we're going to recap
Yeah,
2022 and tell you what's on our mind, what we're investing in, and the the intentions that we have for this channel moving into 2023. Okay.
yeah, 100%. While I was preparing for this, I had looked up different articles that, kind of recap 2022 and major events and things of that nature, but I'm just going to focus on what I think was the absolute highlights of this year. And so, the crypto bank runs. Uh,
Mm,
and where is
not your coins, not your keys, not your keys, not your coins, not your keys, not your cheese. Self
right?
custody. This is the whole reason for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain.
100%. All right, I'm going to share a different screen. My images aren't popping up. So let me just share a different screen real
Okay.
quick. Stand by.
While you're doing that, we're going to go to the top 10. Bitcoin sitting at number one, $324 billion market cap. Ethereum coming in at number two, 147 billion. Stablecoin Tether, 66 billion. USDC, 44 billion. BNB, 39 billion. XRP still in the lawsuit with the SEC. Well over a year later, 17 billion. Binance USD, 17 billion. Dogecoin back in the top 10. I wonder if that has anything to do with Elon being the CEO of Twitter this year, but they're sitting at 10 billion. Cardano, 9 billion. Polygon cracking the top 10 again, 7 billion. All right, you've got your screen up?
Yeah, I've got it back up. All right, so I first just wanted to talk about, I think, probably one of the biggest things, for sure, that has happened in 2022 and that is going to go down in history. It's going to be a movie, it's going to be a documentary, are the bank runs. Of course, we had the Terra Luna fiasco. Everybody, I'm sure, is going to vividly remember, 10 years from now, where they were when the Terra Luna fiasco went down.
Mm,
Um, and that was, I think, the first domino to fall,
yes, it
right?
was.
But we've since then had a number of crypto bank runs happen. Of course, Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, Gemini is like in the middle of getting sued right now on some stuff. Their Earn program is under attack right now. Crypto.com, which survived.
So
Binance,
far. So far.
so far. Binance, which has survived. And they have, it's been a very intense stress test for Binance. Um, if we go down here, I had something. Yeah. Actually, maybe I didn't put it in the slide, but something like $10 billion worth of crypto was withdrawn from
Sheesh.
Binance over like 30 days, right? $10 billion.
Sheesh. Sheesh.
So I think it's safe to say that Binance is here to stay, hopefully. Um, they're
Yes.
warriors. And of course, FTX, which has just been a total soap opera. What has been going on with FTX? Um, oh, this is what I was talking about. $10 billion withdrawn from Binance so far, and again, this was over like the course of a month. So lessons learned, and I know you just talked about this, Creole, but not your keys, not your crypto, not your
Mm,
keys, not your coins, right? But, I think another interesting conversation that has been coming up in regards to that, if you're going to self custody, um, have you put yourself in a position to self custody in the right way and to do it in the
right.
safest way? I was just going through Twitter before this, and there was a Bitcoiner who lost like 200 Bitcoin literally Bitcoin, right? Not $200 worth of
Oh,
Bitcoin, 200 Bitcoins, because he had it on like a hot wallet. I don't know. I didn't read through the thread, but it's just a perfect example of yes, we do want to self custody and hold our own keys, but we can't be clowning around with it, right?
right, right. And,
Um,
everybody's going to learn that lesson, because
right.
the money comes fast in crypto. When it comes fast, you're a little bit lackadaisical with your security and how you store it. But everybody pays that tuition. Michelle has paid it, I've paid it.
Hmm.
But the thing is, you've got to learn from your mistakes, learn the lesson. And a decentralized, self custodial future is the name of the game here.
100%. And between Creole and I think mostly me has done has covered a lot of material on security and how to safely self custody, right? Because it is a lot to think about. And just to tell y'all a little bit about a conversation Creole and I had about a month ago, do you have your keys? You should have your keys in multiple locations, right?
Right.
What if your house gets torn from its foundation by a tornado and your keys are thrown 5 miles from where you live, right? So, but it's serious stuff like that, because I know a lot of us, we think about in case of a fire, a lot of us are prepared for that. But
Hmm.
like, what if your home is completely wiped out? What if your keys are in a tornado and now 10 miles, down the street? So always making sure you have backups, making sure you're using these
Yeah.
still keepers for your keys. You're just doing everything you possibly can to keep your
Right.
Bitcoin and crypto
And to
safe.
piggyback off that, it is key to have them in multiple locations. I'm
Hmm.
not too far away from a 6.2 earthquake a
Right.
couple weeks ago. So, I mean, literally, the ground may crumble beneath your feet. And when that natural disaster comes, you want to be prepared, right? You want to know where your keys are, you want to know how to access them. Start thinking about those things now.
Right. And also think about in case of death as well, because I know that was one, that was a thread. Again, there was a comment with CZ talking about, there's still
Hmm.
risks with self custody, and there are. And I don't think we talk about that enough. We just tell people to hold their own keys, but we don't tell people every different lens you have to look through and able to securely hold your
Right.
keys. And a part of being secure is having people to pass over that crypto to in case of your death, right? So security means a bunch of different things. It means actually protecting your keys. It
Hmm.
means having them in multiple locations. It also means having a plan B, or a plan in place to pass your
Right.
funds along to someone else, right?
Right. Right.
Because some of y'all have crypto and your family doesn't know, your wife doesn't know, like, what I'm saying? But, it's important that you're able to pass that on. Um, Next topic. We got anything going on in the chat right now before I go to the next topic?
No, Crawfish says actually there was 6 billion in 48 hours. So things happen
Wow.
very quickly in the crypto space. That's why you always want to be prepared. Never hold too much on exchanges, because at any given moment, things may crumble beneath your feet.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
And I'm really big into having a routine, every 2 to 4 weeks, 4 weeks at maximum. I'm making sure I'm taking my funds off of these exchanges and
Right.
putting it into cold storage. So maintenance is important, right, with your wallets and your portfolio. Moving on to Celsius, this was a big one for us this year.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to put too much time on this because we've talked about this in uh, quite a bit. But Chrissy Mashinsky has been a character. this year from dropping, what was that? Didn't she drop a shirt or something, merch
Oh my
about
gosh.
creditors and
USA strong. Let me
um
see if I can pull it up.
but in Creoles we have a little group chat, and I was just saying, if anything, I will give Chrissy credit for staying by her fool of a husband through all of this,
The
because
thick and
she's been
thin.
riding, yeah, she's been riding with this cat. But Chrissy says 2023 smells like healing, blessings, and success. And of course, people were saying hopefully it smells like getting our funds back as well.
Oh, they're gone, man.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Don't get your hopes up on that. Another one here, Chrissy talking about men of character, and Alex Mashinsky having the audacity to talk about the character of a man in this video. We won't even play that. But I thought this was also perfect as well, because let's not forget the Twitter spaces that were an absolute disaster and shit show that were happening since the summer. Digital asset update says here, not listening to Celsius related Twitter spaces has greatly saved my sanity, anger, and overall peace of mind. I continue to watch the court filings and post any major official updates. If it's a quote community recovery plan or hopium, then I ain't touching it.
Mm.
And you know what? I heavily align with this tweet, because all the Twitter spaces did was make me angrier. It put me in more despair, and made me less hopeful. So I have not listened to Twitter Spaces since maybe August, or that last video I put on the YouTube channel. And yeah, I honestly, out of sight, out of mind at this point. If I get my money back, great. If I don't, it is what it is.
Yes, I've already made it up in my mind that I will never see those funds again. But that's the game we play. That's the lesson we learn. And what's crazy, we know better, right?
Right.
We know better than this. But and Michelle and I talk about this a lot. There's some aspect of this internal greed in our subconscious that we always
Yeah.
think we have to make more at a faster pace. But that's one thing the Bitcoin maxis have, right? You don't need yield to be successful in this crypto space, right? We are
Right.
still so early. All you need to do is concentrate on just stacking those coins.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the uh, probably the biggest thing for me with Celsius is, and when we were talking about Celsius, I clearly said you are giving over your custody, right? And I think the lesson there was we all knew it was not the right thing to do, but we did it anyway out of
Greed,
greed.
greed.
Greed will screw you over, and we're going to talk
Hmm.
about it a little bit more in going into 2023. But I learned a lot of lessons on greed in
Yes.
2022. Greed will fuck you over every single time in this market. So lessons learned. Lessons learned. Moving on to FTX, which
Sheesh.
has been a total utter shit show and soap opera. Of course, I had to pull the tweet. Of course, people have screenshots and receipts for days on this, but SBF saying FTX is fine, assets are fine. It was all a lie. Um, and a lot of people are hurting because of it. And we're going to touch back on this here in a second, for rules and things to consider going into 2023. Um, don't listen to CEOs. Always assume that they're lying. Uh, and of course, Dixon. I guess, need to give a shout out to Simon Dixon for really being the warrior in the trenches for Celsius
Yes,
creditors.
the adult in the room.
Yeah, 100% the adult in the room. Creole, do you mind playing this video on your end?
Oh, let me see if I can pull it up here. I did get some echo when I played it before, so bear with me. If it's echoing, let me know. Um, let's see. It'll play right out of here or no? Or I gotta go to the tweet.
I think it
Okay,
should. It's not playing. Yeah, gotta go to the
it's
tweet.
loading. It's
Okay.
loading. Okay, here we go.
Levered that goes to zero. And that always tends to, I would
And can you
like to
put your
see,
screen,
I don't
enlarge
want
it?
this to happen, but it always gives you a good bottom when you get a large player over levered that goes to zero. And that always tends to be the beginning of the rebuilding process. Now, do we get it this week? Do we get it next week? Someone's going to zero. I don't know who, but it'll be great for everybody else that survives. I noticed in our corporate accounts, yes, I am an investor. There was nothing there. Not only were there no assets, there were no records. There was nothing. So it had been stripped clean. Just where's the money? It's a very simple question. It's not brain surgery here. And I just called Sam up. Sam Bankman-Fried said, Sam, where's the money? And he said, I don't have access anymore to the servers. I said, okay, what?
Sheesh.
Yeah. There were a
Yeah.
lot of moments like that in crypto this year and over the past few months. Everybody was getting called out.
Yes.
Everybody who was wrong in this has been called out. Receipts have been shown and pulled. Um, yeah, it was just a very, very dramatic past few months. Um, and one more video, Creole, real quick, on the next slide. And can you enlarge your? Yeah, you got it enlarged. Can you enlarge your screen, Creole,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
play it?
I'm getting there.
Come on,
See, somebody
get it
wasn't
together.
prepared for this live, and so I'm doing her part. You know, hold on. Enlarge it. Hold on one sec.
And
And
while
while cre-
oh,
oh,
that
that
echo is
echo is
coming.
coming. Yeah.
And
All right. Stop
okay.
talking.
Hey, hi. I'm SBF, founder and CEO of FTX. My accidental theft of our customers' life savings to create a giant overleveraged Ponzi slush fund for myself is a tragedy that should have never happened. And to all those affected, I want to say I am deeply sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Oops. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm deeply sorry. Heh. Sorry. Oopsie doopsie.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Some breaking news in the case against disgraced crypto founder Sam Bankman-Fried. He was just released on $250 million bond.
Sorry.
So
That was
definitely,
good.
yeah, that tweet came out on the 28th by Jason. Yeah, FTX, Sam Bankman Fried. Looking forward to the movie, to the Netflix movie on that. So moving along,
Hmm.
just taking a moment to reflect, and for y'all who are watching, drop in the comments what your biggest lesson learned for 2022 was, your biggest mess up or your biggest win for 2022. Drop that in the chat. Um, as I was saying before, I'll go first, Creole. You can think about yours, but I think my biggest lesson in 2022 was about greed.
Mm.
Um, and I should have sold. I should have sold at least 50% of my NFT holdings.
What are they worth now, Shell?
So, y'all, and I'm going to say this because my NFT portfolio is public. If you look for it, you can find it. So I won't ever say numbers about anything else, but I will say numbers about my NFTs because they are already public. But y'all, I had about 75 to $100,000 in NFTs in the height of the bull run.
Sheesh.
It's now about 15,000. Oh wow! So and and the lesson there is sell, sell, especially when you know that the cycle. Because I think the biggest thing that messed a lot of us up was thinking that we were in a super cycle and
Going to
the
100K.
100K laser eyes, da 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 da, and it's just like no. um because if I had sold just 50% of my holdings, I could have bought everything back and then some right now, right?
Right.
And that goes the same with crypto as well. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a second. But um, that was definitely my biggest lesson learned. Biggest win in 2022. I don't know.
It's like that.
I was winning in 2021. Like you couldn't tell me nothing in
Everybody
2021.
was.
But 2022, I don't know if I have a win, y'all. You know what? I will say my win for 2022 is finally getting our Untwisting the Game merch shop up. Yeah. I've been wanting to get this merch shop going for a couple of years now. And so I finally, during the bear market, we're going to build in a bear market. And I just finally decided to just really sit down
Mm.
and get these products up, y'all. So head on over to untwistingthegame.com. We have candles up that are crypto theme, Bitcoin theme, and these are quality candles, y'all. They smell absolutely amazing and last quite a while. So if you're a candle person or if you're a gag gift person, right? Like these were great white elephant gifts for Christmas, but yeah, come to the website. We have Cardano is a ghost chain. I pitched that shirt. If you were in the Discord about a year ago, I wanted to make this shirt. Now we finally have it up on the website. Bitcoin is dead. Comments that don't age well. Cardano is a ghost chain. Comments that don't age well. We got our CBDC awareness merch up here. And I just released the Bitcoin is Signal hat as well. On here, we got JPEG collector. So if you're looking to get a shirt, get a candle, get a hat, hop on over to the store. So
Mm.
moving on to you, Creole.
Oh,
Biggest win, biggest loss.
oh man. Let's start with my, I guess, biggest loss would be Celsius. I had two commas on Celsius. I will never most likely see those funds again. Luckily, it was a bag that I could lose and not feel it in my personal life or in my crypto trading. But in what's crazy is I was on Bitcoin Twitter and I saw all the warning signs, but for some reason I
Mm-hmm.
just believed what Mashinsky was saying, and it burned me. It
Yep.
burned me in the end, right? So my biggest loss is not following my instinct, not listening to Bitcoin maxis, and
Mm-hmm.
keeping coins in other people's possession. That is definitely my biggest loss of 2022. Biggest win? It'll have to be in my personal life.
Love that.
I've done a lot of growing in my businesses. I now have 85 employees that work under me, and that's going really well right now. So the past, 4 or 5 months, I've been laser focused on my businesses in IRL. But moving into 2023, I'm going to focus back on crypto, specifically Bitcoin, right?
Right.
Michelle and I, we've been bouncing ideas back and forth. I think we're going to drop the name crypto off of the channel. Um, I day by day, mistake after mistake, I'm becoming more and more of a Bitcoin maximalist. Now, with that being said, I can't consider myself a maximalist because I still hold other altcoins, specifically Polkadot, some coins on the Polkadot ecosystem, Cardano, some coins on the Cardano ecosystem, and also Stacks, which Stacks is an affinity to Bitcoin. But I'm starting to read some articles that it's not necessarily built on top of Bitcoin. So we'll do a deep
Right.
dive into some of those things later. I know there's um, a couple more coins that I'm looking at, eyeing at. But honestly, guys, right now I'm focused on stacking those sats. I'm to that point to where I realize everything else is a casino. uh,
100%.
everything else is a casino, guys. So always dollar cost average every paycheck in your satoshis. Even if you download the Strike uh, app, I'm making a purchase every hour automatically for some Bitcoin. Yeah.
Love that. And if you do not have a Strike account, we do have a referral link on our solo.2, which is in the chat and also in the description. I have been absolutely loving Strike. I'm doing an hourly dollar cost average on Strike and absolutely love it. It's very easy and to the point to use. All right, so let's move into
2023.
2023. And make sure y'all hit that like button.
I'm gonna get some things
All right.
pulled up.
All right. So, the next thing that I want to talk about is rules going into 2023. Um, and again, we are not financial advisors. We are not suggesting anything. We're not advising you all to do anything. Um,
Yes,
these
we
are
are
just
all
some.
adults.
Right. We are all adults, and that's the first rule on here. And we have said this multiple times on this channel, but you can't say it enough, especially during this time where everybody wants to point the finger at somebody else with their losses. Right? You're an adult. I'm an adult. We're adults. You have to take responsibility for the actions you take in this market.
Yes.
So that is rule number one. I, Michelle, am responsible for the actions that I take in this market. It's not Celsius' fault. It's not Alex Muscamsey's fault. It's not Bankman Fraud's fault. It's nobody's fault but your own, period, point blank. Radical responsibility is what we're going to be practicing moving forward. The next one, and this kind of speaks to what you were saying, but Creole and I have had a number of conversations about this. If it is not Bitcoin, it can be sold, and not only
Mm,
sold, but sold without hesitation.
yes.
Right? Bitcoin is number one. It is the North Star. It
The guiding
is
light.
the guiding light, the bread and butter, the alpha and omega, right? So if it is not Bitcoin, I don't care if it's NFTs, if it's Cardano ADA, if it's DOT, if it's some other shit coins that we're playing in the casino,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it
Preach.
can be sold, right? If I had sold all those shit coins that I had made profits on, all these NFTs I had made profits on, I would be sitting much prettier right now, ready to buy a lot of Bitcoin, right? So I think it's also just about detaching yourself a little bit. Like I know
Mm,
we have the diamond hands mentality, but I feel like diamond hands only applies to Bitcoin moving forward.
yes.
Period, point blank.
Yes. I agree with that. Uh,
Um,
I,
next one. Did you have something to say?
No, no, you're right. Um, and the reason why all the other altcoins and shitcoins can be sold without hesitation, because the chain can be stopped without hesitation,
Mm,
and they all eventually will. Bitcoin is the only one that has this structural foundation that's built and that can withstand the test of time. And at the end of the day, that's where you want to focus your energy on, because it's
hmm
only 21 million. And once people finally realize that Bitcoin can't be stopped, it can't be censored, or it can't be taken away from you overnight, it's going to go to a million. Not
hmm
financial advice.
Right. And I think it's important. And again, this is like the deeper you go down the rabbit hole and the more you start surrounding yourselves by maximalists. You know, Creole and I, we like Polkadot, we like Cardano, we like Stacks, we like Sovereign. None of it is actually needed, right?
Hmm.
All of this other stuff is a nice to have. Okay. We don't need um decentralized Bitcoin back loans. It's a nice to have, but we don't need it, right? So I think that's another lens that I'm looking. What's up, Thai City?
Toxicity.
So that's just another lens that I've been looking through. All these other projects, these NFTs, great. Want to make some money? Great. You like what they're doing? Awesome. But at the end of the day, we don't actually need it, right? Humanity doesn't actually need all these other blockchains. It can all happen right there in the Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin network. Um, Three, if it's on an exchange, consider it already stolen.
I like that. It's true though.
You
It's
know,
true.
um, consider it already gone, right? And again, this is something most of us have been known, but sometimes it takes you to learn a lesson firsthand for it to actually,
Hmm.
really hit you. So it's already stolen. If it's on, I don't care if it's on Cash App, I don't care if it's on Swan, I don't care if it's sitting on Kraken, I don't care if it's sitting on Binance, XYZ, ABC, consider it already stolen.
Hmm.
Consider it already gone, right? So again, let's practice safe self custody moving forward. Assume all exchange and crypto project CEOs and leaders are lying. That's another lesson that I learned in 2022. Um, all these motherfuckers are lying. Um,
Our politicians are lying. Our CEOs are lying. The only thing that's telling you the truth is the Bitcoin blockchain every 10 minutes.
period. Period. Point blank. Every block.
Every block is
um,
truth.
Right. So again, moving forward, I don't care if it's Charles Hoskinson. I don't care if it's new what's his new oh my goodness. New beep.
What you sipping on over there?
Stacks.
Oh,
Um
Najib. No,
bro, that's
Manib.
not
Manib. Manib.
Manib, right? I don't care if it's Corey at Swan. I don't care who it is. I'm moving forward as if I can't trust what any of these cats are saying in regards to their exchange and their business. Right?
Mic drop.
Because let me tell you, Alex Masinski, Sam Bankman Fried, either they were lying or they were ignorant. Right?
All of the above.
All of the above. Okay, next, just some top picks that we are accumulating, but as crypto said, Bitcoin is always number one. Currently, right now, for me, all I am buying right now is Bitcoin. Um, I still like Cardano. I still like Polkadot. I still like Stacks. And eventually, I will start dollar cost averaging back into those. Of course, notable mention, we like Sovereign. They do have the SOV token, which I've just bought just with some play money. But notable mention.
Talk about
Mhm.
Sovereign a little bit for those who don't know.
Yeah. Um, Sovereign in a nutshell is DeFi for Bitcoin. DeFi for Bitcoin. It's built on top of the RSK sidechain of Bitcoin. Um, I really like the community. I like the founder. I like what they're doing. Um, you can get loans on their platform. You can stake on their platform, the SOV token. Um, yeah, they got some interesting things going on. And of course, that if you were to get a loan through Sovereign, you hold your own keys, right, to the Bitcoin that you are depositing into that their smart contract. So interesting. It's a and I started doing a series on Sovereign a few months ago. Then I had to switch focus, but we're gonna get back on Sovereign this year, going into January. Okay,
And
taking
this
baby steps.
and this, Michelle, is some of the game theory that Bitcoin maxis point to, is that all these other altcoins and DeFi protocols, they're eventually going to migrate to the Bitcoin network, simply because it's indestructible, um, and it can't be altered on the base layer. So as you build your applications, you want it on a steady foundation. And most importantly, it's where all the liquidity is.
Right,
So these applications are going to eventually make their way to Bitcoin. So be ahead of the game here.
right. And in regards to NFTs, Artifact still, I believe, is the number one pick right now. Um,
What makes you say that?
Artifact is delivering. They've had a couple of fuck ups, one very recent that really affected my bag. I lost quite a bit of money on a trade, but the reason why I messed up, why I lost money, is because I didn't follow through with my strategy. I got fucking greedy,
Greed.
and that's why. So another hard lesson I had to learn recently on that. But Artifact is delivering. They're delivering physical items. They're delivering experiences in real life experiences. They're delivering online experiences. They're working, of course, they work under Nike. Nike is getting heavily involved in the metaverse through recent announcements over the past couple months with Dot Swoosh. So I still see a bright future for Artifact. I truly do, even though I've been annoyed at some of the things that have happened. So the reason why I have it only on here and as number one is because if I had a friend to come up and ask me, hey, what NFT should I look into? It would be Artifact. Now, with that said, I still like the Aku project. I think I'm just in a place with NFT projects where I feel like there's no clear direction. With art, well, how can I put
Yeah.
this?
What do you mean?
Um, and maybe it's because I for a while like kind of stepped away for NFTs and was focusing on other things. But between Artifact, and this was heavy discussion on Twitter, and also between Aku, I'm just like, what direction are we going in? Like, is any specific thing getting completed before another thing is started in these
Hmm.
projects? And I think that's a real issue with NFT projects. I know we were like all for the, roadmaps are cool, but like you don't need a roadmap to be a successful, ecosystem and community. Da da da. Like, no, I want a roadmap. I want clear, precise steps, a clear understanding of what is to be expected as an
Yes.
investor.
Yes.
And moving forward, going into 2023 and beyond, when it comes to these types of NFT digital collectible projects, I need a very clear, precise roadmap so I can understand and have clear expectations as a holder. Period, point blank. I'm tired of all this projects doing this collaboration and then they're doing that collaboration. Meanwhile, they haven't even finished this project over here. Like, what is going on? Right.
Hmm.
So that's been my biggest frustration with digital collectibles, NFTs over the past few months. But we'll see what happens going into 2023.
Yes, and to piggyback once again on that, the only thing I'm accumulating right now is Bitcoin, BTC, my Satoshis.
Mm-hmm.
I am focused like a madman, because I really think after this bear market, it's going to be pretty impossible for the average person to even acquire a full Bitcoin, right? So I'm trying to get as many Bitcoins as possible from now until the next halving. um, and because the thing with the bear market moving into the next bull market is that a lot of your portfolio in shitcoinery is not going to survive. They're not going
Mm-hmm.
to rebound, and we see that time and time after again, with these cycles. So this is a good time to focus on Bitcoin. There's one or two altcoin projects that you feel very strongly about. Throw a little bit money in there, but keep in mind that if you're investing in altcoins right now, especially with the SEC about to clamp down on these unregistered securities,
Mm-hmm.
you could lose your shirt. Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
right now in the cryptocurrency space is the only sure bet. Not financial
100%.
advice.
100%. Um, that's all I had for this live. I do just a couple last things. I just want to thank all of y'all who have been sticking with us. Um,
Hmm.
they're on Instagram. Like, y'all hit me up on Instagram. I still see some of y'all are engaged in the Discord. So I just want to say that we truly, truly appreciate that continued support because it is
Yes,
not
yes,
easy. Let me tell y'all on a personal note, life has been lifing for me. Like, it has been over the past few weeks and like 3 to 4 months. It has been very, very intense on a personal level. And I know we haven't always paid the most attention to the channel as far as consistency, but we're going to do better on it.
yes,
Um,
we
and
are.
and with that, I've been posting a lot more on Instagram. My Instagram, michelle.url. Also getting on TikTok. So make sure y'all follow me on TikTok. I've been doing a lot more short form content. But like I said, my goal for this channel and for content going into 2023, we're going to be doing a lot more short form, 1 minute, 90-second content between Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. And then I also want to get back to the basics
Yes,
with Sovereign, right? Doing a micro dose, going through it step by step. I want to do the same thing with stacks. I really want to break down stacks on this channel as well. And so we're going to just like take it down a notch. Not be the people doing talking about 50 different projects. There's other channels that do that shit, right? If you want to find the pump and dumps and the gems and all that kind of stuff, we're going to focus on solid projects and knowing
yes,
them really fucking well on this
yes,
channel.
yes. All right. Was that your monologue out or?
Yeah, shout out to Crypto Crow. Crow's been going in on his monologues on his channel. But yeah, I think that's it for my announcements. Again, go hit up untwistingthegame.com. Check out the new website, the merch store. Um uh go to our solo.2 link. We have Creole's Twitter up here, the Instagram, the TikTok. Follow us on these channels, y'all, and stay informed on the latest updates.
Yes. Okay. I may play a couple videos on the way out, but let's just jam out a little bit. Get your mind right for 2023. Stack sats and stay humble, friends.
I need you in the morning, but I need you now. Yeah. I find why girl
Ty
you're all
City
I
wants to
need.
know
I know I can lie.
when
Oh
we can
yes, Todd
collab.
City. Let's
Yeah.
collab on something. Hit me in the Telegram group or the Discord. Let's put something together. And I still owe Todd Bitcoin.
Only you feel on my body. Only you feel on my body. You don't need no other body. Say I made it mess up my mind. I'm not meaning to you free up the mind. Say your body talk to me nice. Say now my love you didn't need for your life. Yeah, I love to be like. Say we do together, yeah, day and night. Yeah, if I leave you go by. Yeah, if you leave I'm stroking your body, baby. Loving your body, baby. As you're whining your body, baby. So crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. The CEO of Paxful announced right before Christmas that they kicked Ethereum off the marketplace. 11.6 million humans safer. Integrity over revenue. Who is next? And this is what's going to happen to the altcoins. Stack your sats while you still can. You can play the altcoin casino later.
Ty City, I hope it's going to be a 5K Bitcoin soon. I hope so. Incredible accumulation opportunity.
No kidding. I think I'd start selling kidneys at that point.
For real. Start giving blood, donating blood.
When my poor heart is breaking apart, you put it back together. He ain't the kind to show off his mind. Talking of love is clever. Ooh, honey,
Oh, yeah, this is a really good article. I'm going to bring a Bitcoin in depth series talking about philosophy and game theory. This is one of the articles I want to bring to you. What are the key properties of Bitcoin? I think a lot of us tend to gravitate towards altcoins because we don't understand what money is and we don't understand what the significance of Bitcoin is. So, one of my um, I hate to call it a New Year's resolution, but one of my focuses moving into 2023 is to really break down the Bitcoin theory. And I will say, Michelle, one of my greatest accomplishments throughout 2022, I think I orange pilled at least 6 people. So 2023, I want that to
Facts.
double.
Facts.
Yeah.
I am the Omega. PG Lane Rolly Gang SIE. Don't you address me unless it's with 4 letters. I thought you known better. I've been ducking the pandemic. I've been social gimmicks. I've been ducking the overlay activists. Yeah, I'm not a trending topic. I'm a hold on, y'all playing with me, man. I am the Omega. PG Lane Rolly Gang SIE. Don't you address me unless it's with 4 letters. I thought you known better. I've been ducking the pandemic. I've been ducking the social gimmicks. I've been ducking the overnight activists. Yeah, I'm not a trending topic. I'm a prophet. I answer to Metatron every year. Looking for a better me. I am a legacy. I come from the 70s. The Al Green offspring, guns and the melody. The big shot, wrist on cryotherapy. Soon as I press that button, gotta get right like the emblem's coming. Us two when the light he ain't been through nothing. Day 3 got at least 1 B in the oven. I'm tripping, I'm trigger, my mental is amazing, brother. Pop off only on occasion, brother. Rich, mama know I made it, brother. Go figure, never cut cases, brother. Face it, brother. Gracious, brother. New flows coming, be patient, brother. Show my take out of class like a multitask like Megan, brother. 2021 ain't taking no prisoner. Last year, y'all up all the listener. Who went platinum or call that a visitor? Who the backing them? All been
This is a funny little video here.
The Elohim, the rebirth. Before you get to the Father, you gotta holler at me first. Smoking on top fives. Motherfucker, that album, that single, burn that hard drive. Ain't nobody safe when I come up killing everybody that's outside. Yeah, Kanye changed his life, but me, I'm still an old school Gemini. Let me jump in this. 2 phones, but I only bring one in this. 1 daughter, but they all my sons in this. No hoes ain't shit getting done in it. I'm scary, I got a gun in it. Smoking on top fives. Stop playing, I'm that guy. Number 2 DM in my. That's cool, that's why.
All right. There's just a couple more videos I want to play for y'all. All right. One more little track here. Again, Happy New Year.
Hit
From
that like button.
Untwisting Gram. Untwisting the Gram. Ripple Partners incoming for the save. Bitcoin needs no savior, Ty.
It's so crazy missing you when I get on. Now Julio make me a Fulvio. Now I hit your phone up with that ba-ba-ba. Isn't that da-da-da? Isn't that ah? All of this love is toxic. All of this love is
Toxic.
All these kisses and hugs and
Hey, here's to being a toxic Bitcoin maximalist in 2023, right?
toxic. All the sex on replay, running back like a DJ. Flying face while you eat that, trying to make a bad bitch behave. I was just waiting for you, was still wait for you, thinking I would wait for you. And that damn down Julio made me a fool for you. And I might hit your phone up with that ba-ba-ba. Missing my da-da-da, missing that ah.
Tether, Todd City says, Tether collapse is the bottom. The US dollar will collapse before Tether, Ty.
You a damn drug, toxic, problematic. You know that dick always been problematic. Somehow I'm always calling you dramatic. Only your acrobatics. You know I want to stay.
All right, I'm going to leave y'all with a couple more videos here. I'll be watching the chat. If nobody has anything else to say, Happy New Year's from Untwisting the Game with Michelle and Creole. We're going to be coming at you 2023 with a lot of Bitcoin content in your face. All right, here we
All
go.
right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
You can't see it today, but it is much more impactful than it will be much more impactful than the internet. In fact, it's rebuilding a new peer-to-peer internet that puts us all as equals. and we create value. And the more value we create, the more prices fall for all of us on that system. And it's an equalizer around nations. And so now you're not, as this it expands, doesn't matter where you're born, to be able to plug into a system that effectively gets its life from enslaving other people. You are plugged into a global network of people contributing ideas that has benefit to you. So it's a lot bigger, but it's early. You can't see it today, but it is much more impactful.
And so I just saying, let's take the safe path, which is do exactly what we've been doing that grew Bitcoin into this worldwide phenomenon that it is today. And that economic formula is still alive and well in the form of Bitcoin Cash. And that economic formula has been mutilated and nearly destroyed in the form of Bitcoin Core. And that's why in the long term, I'm much, much, much more bullish about Bitcoin Cash than Bitcoin Core. Bitcoin Core is having negative merchant adoption around the world. Bitcoin Cash is having positive merchant adoption around the world.
Bitcoin always had this vision that we were supposed to just keep increasing the block size, and Bitcoin is peer-to-peer cash. It says so in the white paper. And then this elitist clique of core devs just came in and said, no, we're going to impose this totally different vision. And if you ever want your scalability, you'll have to wait for us to create this totally unproven fancy technology called the Lightning Network.
It's the simplest and easiest solution to just increase the block size for somebody who believes that Bitcoin was meant to be a cash system rather than just a digital store of value like it is today. So increasing the block size allows us to do all of that and keep it simple. Not to mention that the Lightning Network is owned by Lightning Labs, which is a private company.
And so this one single version of Bitcoin on August 1st of last year split into both Bitcoin Cash, which is cash for the world, and Bitcoin Core, which is now a science project with Raspberry Pis. That's not usable in commerce. And we're seeing, all this talk about the Lightning Network and this and that. So here we have direct evidence that we've stagnated Bitcoin's adoption around the world by several years because there's two merchants that now accept Lightning, and the third one where you can buy hats coming. That means more babies are dying in countries around the world because they have less economic freedom. I'm not exaggerating. This is a life and death matter.
You've been Texas, and we had some fun. We met some girls, some dancers who gave a good time.
The way to scale a blockchain, I think, with Bitcoin would be to move to layer 2 scaling solutions where everything is cryptographically linked to the main chain. So if you want an analogy, it's kind of like a gold standard where a US dollar is backed by gold, except for it's cryptographically enforced. Bitcoin in the sidechain, Bitcoin on Lightning, you can always cash back out to the main chain and actually get that asset.
Bitcoin enables companies to be that disruptive and be that big. The biggest companies in the world in 5 to 10 years will be Bitcoin companies. Brian Armstrong, he fucked this up big time. And it shows a very fundamental lack of understanding of why Bitcoin's important, how Bitcoin was going to scale, how the Lightning Network works, why it's the best monetary network on the planet. He's built a proxy long positions on altcoins, which make no sense. Maybe Brian Armstrong thought he had 3 to 5 years to figure this out. Well, guess what, dude? You got 3 to 5 weeks and you're fucked. So now I'm building a leverage long position on Bitcoin being the true innovation in cryptocurrency. That digital scarcity does have value. Altcoins are implied unintended inflation to the asset class. And that if you have 1 million monetary networks that aren't interoperable with each other, all you've done is recreate the inefficient monetary network. I'm making a bet that Bitcoin and Lightning are the innovation, and they are going to last. Altcoins are going to die. I'm a Bitcoiner before anything else.
We want to be transparent. We want to set the golden standard for reliability, solidness in this space.
So do it. Would you be able to handle it if somebody asked you for $2.1 billion back? Would that be okay? Would you be able to still withstand things?
We're financially okay.
Including you have $2.1 billion to give away. If somebody came to claw that back, you'd still be fine?
We'll let the lawyers handle it. We are financially strong. Even after the FTT price dropped over the last year, we still have $500 million worth of it, $580 million worth of it on the day when we transferred from the address we received a year and a half ago. We never touched it. We actually kind of forgot about it.
But thus far, you haven't disclosed your liabilities. And I wonder why that is and whether you will.
Yeah, so we are working with the firms to do the audited financials, liabilities, etc. But the audits don't reveal every problem. So
no, but an audit from a Big Four auditor would reveal that, CZ. If you could get a Big Four auditor to say that, if you're saying that some of them don't want to work with you, that raises questions too. They don't want to work with you because you don't have the files and the data that would make them feel comfortable signing off and giving that stamp of approval?
Actually, many of them don't even know how to audit crypto exchanges. They don't really when they audit, they're very used to auditing a firm.
Does Coinbase, CZ, Coinbase has a Big Four. Coinbase has a Big Four auditor?
Actually, I don't look at Coinbase. We don't really look at.
I think so, though.
I don't know the details.
So they understand it well enough.
Deloitte is the auditor for Coinbase.
So they can figure.
They do have some experience. Would you be able to handle it if somebody asked you for $2.1 billion back? Would that be okay? Would you be able to still withstand things?
We're financially okay.
Including you have $2.1 billion to give away. If somebody came to claw that back, you'd still be fine?
We'll let the lawyers handle it. We are financially strong. The well-run crypto exchanges should hold user assets one-to-one. Very simply, Binance does not owe people money.
Have you done the same? Has there ever been commingled funds? Have you ever taken any of the clients' funds and done anything with them? And again, why should we believe you? Because Sam Bankman-Fried told everybody, no, that hasn't happened. And he tweeted a lot of the same stuff that you've been tweeting in recent days, which I think gets back to this idea of show me the money.
Welcome back to the exchange. FTX's blow up leading to a record amount of Bitcoin being pulled off exchanges, nearly $1.5 billion worth of tokens removed from platforms like Kraken and Coinbase. That's according to the Financial Times. But while some big platforms have been powering down, my next guest crypto company is still powering ahead. Payments company Strike is launching in Africa, allowing customers to instantly send US dollars across borders with settlement in local currency. And will payments end up being the long-term use case for Bitcoin? Let's bring in Jack Mallers. He's Strike's founder and CEO. It's great to see you again, Jack. I didn't know if you'd be in a suit this time because it feels like the vibe has changed a lot since we last saw each other.
Oh, Kelly, you know me better than that. It's good to see you. Welcome back. And no, SBF's not going to get me to put on a suit. Get out of here with that nonsense.
People are so furious at him, though. And he's trying his best to just claim denial about the whole thing. And do you know him personally?
No. Goodness, no. No, I mean, why would you not be furious? It's one of the biggest financial crimes in recent memory. Yeah, if I were someone that committed a massive crime and would be seeing prison sentence, and I'm sure he's lying about everything. Isn't that his whole shtick? He's been lying for a very long time. But no, everyone should be violently upset. It's very unfortunate that it has any knock-on effect of Bitcoin. It's kind of been Bitcoin's plague is the altcoin industry and related actors that are criminals and immoral. But what are we going to do? I've been seeing this for close to 10 years now. We move on. We keep building. We keep shipping stuff.
Let me ask you about one thing when it comes to Bitcoin. I'm sure the bulls will be relieved to finally hear somebody say, no, there's a legitimate use for this. Look at the way you can instantly, transfer payments into local currency in Africa, for instance. But all of that said, it's ironic that we're talking about the attractiveness of Bitcoin as powering transactions in other currencies. Why should I or anybody watching this be a holder of Bitcoin? And maybe you don't suggest that they should be, but why should I be a holder of Bitcoin when it's just going to end up being almost like a payments network like Visa or MasterCard?
Sure. I think there's a lot to take in, right? And I know the everyday person on the couch probably has a tough time keeping up, especially with the SBF nonsense. But we'll divide that into two, Kelly. One is you should look to hold things, whether it be Bitcoin or something else, that are scarce. right? If there's a fixed supply on something, all it takes is demand for the price of that thing to go up. It is a great way to preserve and store wealth. And so Bitcoin's achievement in being the only finite asset in the history of the universe is a pretty big deal. And you should probably hold it because of that. Now, how can you use Bitcoin? What we've actually done is use the fact that Bitcoin is the first digital bearer instrument, Kelly. What that means is it's a physical digital object. And if you have a physical digital object, you could send physical value across the internet instantly in real time. That means I can escrow something physical. Physical, like this is my cell phone, Kelly. It is a physical object. I'm moving it around. However, I'm not strong enough to be able to move this to Nigeria in less than a second and for free. I'm 5'8", Kelly. I'm 155 pounds. There's no way I could throw this phone that far. I can throw a Bitcoin that far. I can throw a Bitcoin in less than a second and for free into Nigeria. And so what I could do is tell customers, hey, how many dollars do you want to get into Nigeria? And I say, take the dollars and say, okay, I'm going to turn it into Bitcoin. I'm going to throw it, my 5'8" self, all the way into Nigeria, where a local partner is going to receive it, convert it to Naira, and put it in a bank. And if we just do a little bit of work on exchange rates and just making sure that the software is congruent across, then you've just reinvented cross-border payments. So why would you hold Bitcoin? Because it's scarce. Why would you use it? Because never before have you been able to have physical settlement digitally. Mind-blowing.
Is it ever going to have a real use case here in the U.S.? And what do you think the regulatory environment is now going to look like?
Do I think it's going to have a real use case in the U.S.? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. I go to Whole Foods. Kelly, where do you grocery shop? I'm getting hit by CPI and inflation. I like grass-fed steaks. Those things have like doubled in price at my Whole Foods. So yeah, Bitcoin's got a use case everywhere. It's the scarcest, hardest asset money ever. What does the regulatory environment look like? I think this industry's got to grow up, Kelly. It's about time. There's Bitcoin and there's everything else. Bitcoin is very obviously a commodity, Kelly. And in my humble opinion, I think everything else looks a lot like a security. And so I think it's time that regulators are probably a little bit more leverage in their ability to clean this space up so that the rest of the world can have clean, moral, responsible access. I think that that's what's going to happen, especially after events like this. I don't see how they can afford to not.
One more question, Jack. You know, because it does seem like a lot of the attractiveness of your kind of payments technology will be overseas to facilitate international transactions and that sort of thing, cross-border payments. What are the lessons being learned from El Salvador and the Bitcoin experiment there? Anything you would have done differently in hindsight?
No, I think my biggest takeaways is that Bitcoin is hope. Bitcoin is equality. Bitcoin is a future you could believe in. Bitcoin is inclusion. I mean, Kelly, I just picked up the phone and called a 30-year-old entrepreneur in Africa, and we worked together to do something that Swift and TransferWise can't do. Right. I mean, I think America was the house on the hill, right? It was the place that you came to and migrated to for equality, for freedom, for equal rights, for equal opportunity. And not to get into where America is today, but I think Bitcoin's becoming that for the world. People look at this technology as something that they can believe in and aspire to be a part of in the future. It represents a better world. And it did for El Salvador. It's doing for Africa. And I think it'll continue to do that for humanity.
It's volatile, though. I mean, so if El Salvador has lost $60 billion because of the drop in the value of Bitcoin, for instance, I mean, it just goes to show that even being able to circumnavigate the existing global financial system comes with its own risks of loss and problems. And they're experiencing some of that firsthand now.
Sure, but Kelly, that's the Fed's fault, right? I mean, taking a step back, what would you rather El Salvador bought British pounds, bought Facebook stock?
Could have bought
Everything's
some dollars.
getting crushed if the Fed's
not
going to
U.S.
artificially...
dollars. U.S. dollars are benefiting from all of this.
Yeah, but U.S. dollars are what has handicapped emerging markets and economies like El Salvador, and has built an extreme, unfortunate reliance on institutions like the IMF. They were very clear in that, hey, listen, it's not going to be the prettiest road, but it's a noble road. It's a righteous road. It's a moral road to gain some form of independence and inclusivity into the global financial system, right? I mean, so what? Bitcoin's the best performing asset over the last 10 years. You're going to take a 6-month snippet and shove it in my face? Come on, Kelly. No way.
Listen, it's just that things looked a lot different a year ago than they do today. And so for the believers who are watching, Jack, what do you tell them? The Bitcoin that they're holding today, they have to hang on to it. It's going to be worth what in 5 years?
Yes, I think that if you're holding Bitcoin, my personal advice would be take a 5-year nap. If you're looking to exchange it within the next coming months, you're a trader. And that is a really hard skill. That's a skill that guys work their whole lives for and never conquer. You need to hold and store your wealth in something that is scarce and that could have a protected monetary policy. And so I would continue to hold this asset because of its properties. Price is not an accurate measurement of the actual properties of the asset. It is a reflection of the macro environment and things like the Federal Reserve. So if you don't want to own Bitcoin, Kelly, what else you want to own? You want to own real estate? You want to own Facebook stock? This thing has every property. It's scarce. Its monetary policy is known. It's defended against any central actors. There's no rug pull.
We know
Kelly,
the case.
come on.
We know the case. The Fed just it's cracked it for now. Jack, you're powering ahead, launching strike in Africa, and insisting that payments is going to be the future. And we thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to check back in with you.
So I'm here with Jack Mahler. What up? The CEO strike on the sidelines of the Africa Bitcoin conference here in Ghana. So, Jack,
yes.
To date, what do you think has been the most compelling use case for Bitcoin across the African continent?
I'm going to give two. I'm going to cheat. One